As things are moving through the Texas legislature, TPPF likes to do its part in helping the public stay informed by asking our good friends in the movement to stop by and tell us about the liberty-minded efforts that they're working on to keep Texas moving in the right direction. Welcome to Spotlight. I'm Jose Melendez, campaign director of TPPF's Taxpayer Protection Project, and today I'm very excited to introduce two freedom fighters. With me is Sam Sheets, who serves as Legislative Director for Americans for Prosperity, and Rusty Brown, who serves as Southern Director at the Freedom Foundation. Sam, Rusty, welcome to Spotlight.
Thanks for having us.
So today we're going to delve into the matter of government collection of union dues, what it entails, and what's the importance of this issue. So to kick things off, Sam, you've been in the trenches of this issue for past legislative sessions. Can you give our audience a walkthrough of what we're trying to do here?
Sure. So Texas is one of the few remaining states in America that still allows public employees of the state of Texas to automatically deduct their dues for their unions and contribute them to the unions, basically using taxpayer resources to take money from their paycheck, every single paycheck, and give it to political organizations like labor unions. So we have no problem with people joining unions. That's fine. That is their, First Amendment, constitutionally protected right. What we have a problem with is the fact that they're using government resources to be the dues collector for a political organization. And let's be clear about this. Union dues are used primarily for political purposes. Unions do electoral activity. They endorse candidates. They electioneer on their behalf. It shouldn't be done on the backs of taxpayers to facilitate this activity. It's just not the proper role of government at all.
Can you tell us about the history of this issue from past legislative sessions to where we are now, and anything else you think is relevant?
Sure. So this issue's been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like I said, a lot of other states have already banned this practice. Texas has been working on this for several sessions. There's been momentum behind this issue. 2017, we got very close to banning this practice. I think that in this new age that we are in, this age of government efficiency, DOGE, both at the federal and the state level, there's a real appetite to take a look at the proper role of government, how we're spending taxpayer resources, and again, just not wasting money on things that we don't need to be spending money on.
So, Rusty, two of the largest labor unions in the country, representing over 15 million workers across the nation, just joined forces. What's the impact of this?
Well, it's going to be profound, I think. I think it's something we're going to see here in Texas and across the country. And there's a lot of different pieces, but one of the biggest ones that jumps out to me is the fact that the SEIU is going to be able to hide their political money through doing this. So if you look at these two organizations, SEIU, big union, and they're spread across a lot of different industries. And the same with the same with AFL-CIO. AFL-CIO is kind of a little bit more of like it's not the best comparison, but kind of like a parent company to a whole host of different unions. Again, spanning industries of every industry in America virtually. What they do very well is going to be compatible with each other. SEIU is one of the best organizing unions there is. They're great at coming in and forming new bargaining units and recruiting them in there. But if you talk to members of the SEIU, they're not that great at servicing contracts. There's a lot of disgruntled SEIU members. They're both political animals, though. And so SEIU can come in and bring that organizing expertise, and I think really help AFL-CIO, up their game on that. And then AFL-CIO is exempt from a bill act that was passed back in the late 50s called the Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act. And it was just due to lobbying efforts. I mean, it just literally says other than state and local central bodies. So state and local central bodies is what AFL-CIO calls its state chapters. So that's AFL-CIO Texas, AFL-CIO Louisiana, AFL-CIO Florida, so on and so forth. That's their lobbying arm. They do not report any of their financials. And you could take a look at what LMRDA is, and it's the best comparison would be it's like the SEC regs for labor unions, okay? Like the law views, okay, the union's coffers belongs to its members. Mm-hmm. And as such, there's a certain level of disclosure that these unions have to comply with. AFL-CIO doesn't at the state level. And so SEIU joining forces with that is going to allow them to engage even farther into the political sphere than they do, and they're a massively political union in and of itself, and be able to hide some of those funds in the process.
So should employers be concerned?
Very. Yeah, I mean, again, they're political animals. They're going to come in and they're going to work together on organizing these groups. It's going to allow them to have some sort of a peace agreement, where we'll take this, we'll take that. AFL-CIO is going to get, a piece of the action that SEIU is bringing in. And the way these constitutions work is like when you're a member of these bigger organizations, like part of the dues money goes to them. And that's an important thing to mention, going back to the overall collection of union dues. When you're talking about whether it's Texas AFT, which is the AFL-CIO's teachers union, or the NEA, which is not affiliated with the AFL-CIO, but in and of itself is the largest union in America, representing almost 3 million members. Half of the dues money leaves the state of Texas and goes to Washington, D.C., where it's used for mostly political purposes.
So how would this impact Republicans in Texas?
Well, the money gets used to fund far left causes. I mean, the union's vast majority of contributions are going to go to far left causes and far left candidates. So, the Republican Party in Texas, I mean, is their enemy. It's that simple.
And if I could just add on the policy front, right, we're talking about this policy issue by itself, but a lot of these unions oppose taxpayer-friendly issues like school choice and education savings accounts, which are, going on right now in the 89th legislature. So whenever there's a House hearing for, the House school choice bill, you can expect the AFT and the teachers unions to show up, and protest and, advocate against this bill. Who's paying for them to be there? It's being subsidized by the taxpayers of Texas, again, to oppose their interests. That's just not right.
So, Sam, on that note, what are we trying to accomplish this, Texas legislative session? House committee assignments came out. What's the pathway forward?
What we would like to see this legislative session is to stop this practice. Again, Texas is one of the few remaining states that still allows this. And if people want to join a union and contribute to the union, great. Again, that is their right, constitutionally protected speech to do so. Make the contributions directly themselves to the union. Don't use the state of Texas and their resources to be the middleman to pay the dues for you. Put it to you this way. If these employees wanted to use the state of Texas to deduct money to send to pro-life causes or pro-Second Amendment causes, there would be riots in the streets because, again, that is just not the role of government to collect money for private organizations. For some reason, we're making an exception for unions in Texas, and we need to put a stop to it.
And it is that extreme. You take again, like I said, a lot of this money leaves the state of Texas. So you zoom out a little bit. Last year, the Colorado Education Association, as one of their referendums in their annual convention, literally voted to oppose capitalism as an economic system. They actually said the quiet part out loud. Yeah, we're communists now. We're just going to go ahead and own that. So if you're a union member in Texas and you're part of the NEA, you're contributing money to oppose capitalism, which is the foundation that America's built on.
So 2 final questions. Rusty, I'll go to you. Any feedback that you're getting from Texans, across the state, and any final thoughts you may have on this?
Yeah, so, the problem is most of the time, your ordinary employees are not as well versed in, what their money's going towards. Teachers are a great example. A lot of them join the union because they offer liability insurance and legal protection in a grievance and things like that. Now, there's other places they can get that same coverage at a fraction of the cost, but nobody ever tells them that. And that's the feedback. When they find out like where their money's going and that there's other options, they're really excited to hear about it. And, people don't, and the other side of it is people don't want to have their money taken out of their paycheck. You look at what happens, a lot of times they sign up at new hire orientation, and it's in the mountain of paperwork that they're signing. And, it's their fault, but they didn't look at their pay stub because they get direct deposit, but it's been there for sometimes years. And they're like, wow, I never knew. And they don't like that. When they find out that's going on, that it upsets them and they want to leave and find a way to get out. And, just by taking the state out of the equation, that won't be a problem anymore.
Sam, same questions. What feedback are you hearing from Texans across the state, and any final thoughts?
Sure. I think, to Rusty's point, a lot of people just aren't aware of this issue because it is hidden on purpose. And once just taxpayers start hearing about this, they get really angry. Again, to my earlier point, we're advocating for, property tax relief, for school choice, a lot of these other things. And our own tax dollars are funding our own opposition. So once you wake people up to that, they get really frustrated, but also they want to take action. They join with us at the Capitol and other groups to put a stop to this and, again, return government to its proper role. So I think the momentum is on our side on this issue in this new age of, government efficiency, just going line by line, seeing how our money is being spent and our resources, and is that truly in the interest of the taxpayers? I don't think this is.
Well, I agree. And on that note, Sam, Rusty, thank you so much for joining Spotlight.
Thanks for having us. It's great to see you.